How can we have an indomitable mindset when we're failing? That's what we're talking about today. How can we have an indomitable mindset when we're getting kicked in the face by life, when we're facing harsh realities, life is closing in, uh, and it's tough, it's bleak. How can we have an indomitable mindset in tough circumstances? This is Roger West, and we're going to talk about that today. Hit that like button if you like the video. And if you want regular updates on this kind of content, regular notifications, hit that subscribe button. We do appreciate it. It helps the channel, very much appreciated, and it costs nothing. Okay. Well, there was a story called The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams. And it talks, this story centers around this young girl named Laura. Now, Laura was a intensely shy young woman. And as a result, she was very uncomfortable in high school. She dropped out of high school and she took a secretarial course, but that was hard too. So she ends up quitting the secretarial course and sort of retreating to her safe zone, which was her home, where she had this glass menagerie with all these little glass animals. And she'd spend all her time rearranging these glass animals and polishing them. And so she was sort of living in this bubble where she was very comfortable. And it didn't really give her a chance to live and get out in the world and deal with reality. And some people face a similar situation, not maybe quite like Laura's, but similar in the sense that they, faced with harsh realities, they retreat into their own comfort zone, and that can have a similar effect. And back in the 1900s, the 1800s, an artist faced a situation where he had opened up a new gallery in New England, and he had lots of people flooding into his gallery. It was very popular. Lots of people came through, and he was given lots of compliments, which any artist is going to appreciate some compliments at first anyway, but after a while they started to be a little bit they make him a little uncomfortable because he was getting lots of compliments but no checks, no cash. People weren't buying his art, and so his gallery was failing while he was getting all this this empty praise. Now, Samuel Morse was not just a quitter. He 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 realized that if he was going to get out of this situation, he was going to have to do something different. Now, his approach was to go out and talk to people all throughout New England. He was talking to people all over the place, and as a result, he was offering them to do portraits, and he became a portrait painter all around New England. And his business thrived because he was talking to lots of people. Now, this question, how can we have an indomitable mindset when we're failing? That's the question. And there's 10 key points I want to make about this. The first is we have to seek failure, just like everybody who Samuel Morse talked to did not go ahead and say, "Yeah, I'd like a portrait." No, he had to deal with failure. He had to deal with rejection. And so one of the things we have to do is we have to seek failure. We have to seek rejection, which goes against our normal human nature, where we want to just kind of retreat into our comfort zone. No, we need to seek failure like a heat-seeking missile. We need to really seek failure. That's the indomitable mindset. That's the third key of the indomitable mindset. Seek failure. If that doesn't make a lot of logical sense, hold on a minute. We need to double our failure rate. We don't need to just seek failure. We need to double our failure rate. And it's very important because pursuing our goals is a numbers game. It's a numbers game. And that's why we need to keep seeking failure, because if we fail enough, we're going to hit some successes. For example, Alex Rodriguez, the famous baseball player, is the number 4 all-time home run leader. Well, guess what? He's also an all-time leader in. He's the number five. He's number five all-time in strikeouts. In other words, Alex Rodriguez, what was his secret to becoming the all-time leader in home runs? He was the all-time failure in strikeouts. So he was a failure more than anybody except for four others. So third point, you have to fail eagerly. We have to fail eagerly and love it. Just like a baseball player gets up there and takes a swing, he's not going, I don't like this. No, he loves baseball. He's up there, he's going to take a swing and go for a home run, and he's going to love it. And if he strikes out, then that just adds to his numbers. So we need to love it because we have to do our best if we're going to have the occasional home run, and if we're going to learn and persevere, we have to love it. And so we need to fail eagerly. We have to eagerly fail and eagerly pursue, like a heat-seeking missile, opportunities for failure. We have to love it. Next point, we need to go for low-stakes failures. This is important because we don't want to go out and just, like, for example, put everything on the line and just, like, throw the dice, lose everything and be out of business. That's major risk, major stakes. That's not the idea here. The idea is to take small risks that we can learn from, adapt from, and keep going with more and more small risks, small failures. And then when we find something that works, we can up the stakes, right? So when we can adjust. That's point number 5, is adjust. So when things go good, we can adjust it and hone in on that thing that's working and seize the momentum. However, when they don't work, we need to change and try something else. We're not just going to go on using the exact same technique over and over again, doing the exact same thing over and over again. That's not the idea, because we don't learn anything from that. We want to try new things. So we adjust, just like Thomas Edison when he was creating the light bulb. We've all heard this story. He was like 1,000 failures before he finally got a success and got the light bulb working the way he wanted it to. And he invented the light bulb after 999 failures. Well, those weren't failures. Those were just experiments that got him one step closer to his success. So we have to, after each experiment, we adjust. We keep score. We have to keep score. I mean, if Thomas Edison didn't keep score, he wouldn't know that he had failed 1,000 times. But also, it gives us something. It gives us a chance to compete with ourselves yesterday. If we got 10 failures yesterday, well, maybe we can go for 11 today. So we want to keep score, because remember, we want to increase our failure rate, double our failure rate, triple our failure rate. And to be able to do that, we need to keep score. So we need to rejoice in disaster. Now, that's easier said than done. Let's face it. It's not always easy to rejoice in disaster, but we need to get our focus off the disaster and get back in the mindset of that heat-seeking missile, hunting out failure. That's what we need to be focusing on. Is sure, we have a disaster. Let's forget about it. Don't worry about it. Worry not on the morrow. Let's just seek more failure today. And that's what we need to do. We need to hunger for failure. We need to hunger it, because it's the food that keeps us going. It's the food that keeps us alive. It's the food that brings us to our next success. And that's what we need to do, is hunger for failure. And because we're hungering for it, we're going to fail more and fail faster. We need to fail more and fail faster all the time. Now, I'm going to give you a special key. This is point number 9, and this is a very key point. It's easy to fail. It's easy to fail. I can do it. You can do it. Anybody can fail. It doesn't even take that much effort. You just go out, give it a try, you fail. So that's the secret. It's easy to fail. It's easy. You don't have to stress out about whether you'll be able to pull it off. We can all pull it off. So the goal then is to be the ultimate failure. We need to fail as much as possible, because it's easy. And so we don't have to worry about it. And so ultimately, if we have that kind of focus, we can be indomitable because we know we're going to be successful at what we're going after, which is to pull another experiment, running another experiment. Fail your way to success. That's what we're doing. We're failing our way to success. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Napoleon said, a coward dies 1,000 deaths. The brave man dies but once. We cannot live by fear. A coward dies 1,000 deaths. That's the coward who is too afraid of failure. He's afraid of being embarrassed, of being, of feeling the sting of rejection. And so every day he dies over and over again as he withdraws and he pulls away from failure and he cowers away from it. And he dies a death every time he does that. Napoleon said, a coward dies 1,000 deaths, but a brave man dies but once. He dies when his life is over, but he lives in courage and honor throughout all his days. Thanks for watching. This is Roger Weston. We'll see you next time.